On the line, Michael Sweet talking about many things, including his upcoming solo acoustic tour of Australia. Michael, thanks for taking your time.
Of course, thank you. My gosh, I'm here. I'm in outside of Boston, Massachusetts. So I'm how many hours behind you? 13 or 14 hours behind you, I think.
Yeah, something like that. It's 11:02 a.m. here.
Yep. So I believe it's 7:30 here, I believe.
Now, you just toured Australia just recently with Stryper, and we were just about to talk about it was a tour that Oz couldn't make it on. Now, how's Oz doing?
You know, Oz is at the moment in a good place, mentally, physically too. He's been on a new diet and lost some weight and feeling better and whatnot. Still a lot of unknowns and things that we're waiting to hear and understand. They haven't done a biopsy yet or anything like that. But as everybody knows, he wasn't able to make it last time we came. That's right when this started. And we came as a trio, and we did our best. And you know, we were just thankful to show up and see all the support, see everybody turn out in support of the band and the situation, and it was really great to see.
It was a very good show. Of course, it was sad not having Oz there, but I think the band performed admirably in his absence.
You know, it's tricky with the band, because we rely heavily on, you know, two guitars, multiple vocals, harmony vocals, and everybody knows that. So, you know, when you're missing someone, especially the guitar player, you know, one of the guitar players, it's difficult to pull off, you know, all those harmonies and all the things that people expect to hear. But we gave our all, we gave our best, and as I said, you know, people were just so supportive and there to stand behind us. And we went out as a trio, and you know, we tried to give them a good show and give them their money's worth. And I think somehow, some way, miraculously, we accomplished that.
I agree. Now, you're coming here very soon on a solo acoustic show. Now, how did this tour come about?
Well, I've been doing a lot of solo acoustic shows in the States, and I really enjoy it. It's a completely different show. Nothing like a Stryper show. You know, I walk out with an acoustic guitar. I've got a little drum box that I use on a few songs. I got a looper that I record a rhythm guitar on and play a solo over on a few songs. It's me and my voice and a guitar. I tell stories about the songs. I talk to the people. I engage the people. And it's much more personable and intimate. And it almost feels like people are coming into my living room, and I'm sitting on a stool and performing for them in my living room. And it's just a really great feeling, a great vibe. A Stryper show, we come out, it's, you know, all the amps are cranked and we're loud and bombastic, and we perform a set and we leave. You know, and that's pretty much it. With the solo acoustic show, it's much more personable, which is something that I really quite enjoy.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the tour poster says performing Stryper tracks and solo material. How have you gone getting a set list up for this? Because I'd imagine that some songs wouldn't work acoustically, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And yet
most songs.
Yeah. And yet you have got a lot of material to choose from. So how have you gone about organising a set list for this? How do you reckon you've gone?
Well, you know, I try to choose songs that translate acoustically and that will work acoustically. And it's funny, sometimes, every now and then, there's a song that I don't think will work acoustically that someone shouts out and says, play, as a request, and I'll play it, and it works acoustically. That happened with Loud and Clear. Oz and I did it acoustically, and it actually worked. But that's with Oz and I. Now, when it's just me, you know, I have to be a little more creative. And, you know, it's a little more difficult to figure out what to do and what not to do. But that being said, you know, I just try to do songs that I can play acoustically that will work. Now, the great thing is, what makes it a little easier is most of the songs that I've ever written for Stryper, solo, Sweet and Lynch, were written on an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
So, to basically pick an acoustic guitar up 25 years later, 30 years later, 35 years later, or 2 years later, whatever it is, and bring those songs to life again on an acoustic, it just kind of works, and it makes sense, and it's not, too far out of the box. And, I'm able to just figure it out. Now, what I do a lot of times is I'll bypass solo sections. Sometimes I'll get a loop going and I'll play a solo. Other times I'll bypass the solo section. If it's a big dual harmony solo section, it doesn't make any sense for me to be up there strumming, 4 or 5 chords. So I try to figure out a way to make it, well, 2 or 3 or 6 or 7 or however many. I try to figure out a way to make it work.
Now, with you mentioning someone shouting out a song from the crowd, is the set list set, or are you taking requests?
I try to, at every show, be in the moment. So sometimes I take requests. Sometimes I don't. It just depends on what I'm feeling. And not every show's the same. I do have a set list that I pretty much, for the most part, follow and stick to, but sometimes that changes. Sometimes I'll cut a song and add a song in its place. Sometimes I'll say, what do you guys want to hear? And people start, yelling out songs and requests, and sometimes I don't even know them. They'll say, hey, can you play 2 Bodies, 1 Mind, 1 Soul? And I'll say, well, I would if I could, but I don't know it. I haven't played that since 1991. And then other times they'll yell out, Lonely or First Love, and I'll play a little bit and piece of that song. But, it's all about having fun to me and engaging the crowd, making it an enjoyable experience for everyone, and just a fun night. So when people leave and they go home, they say, wow, you know what? We really had a good time.
That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. It's all about that. And if you're not having a good time in life, just in general, then you need to change the scenery.
Now, how often are you doing this solo stuff? I mean, fitting in with Strypers.
Well, I tell you, it's still tricky. I mean, I'm trying to balance and juggle, Stryper versus solo, and not just performing acoustic solo, but performing with the full band. I'm planning on doing some shows with the full band next year. And it's always tricky trying to figure out how to make everything work, because Stryper's the priority, as it should be. But I also want to, go out and perform and, promote and, play a lot of the solo songs for the fans as well. I just released a new album called 10, and I want to go out with a full band and play these songs live. I think it's unfair to not do so. So it's something that's very important to me, and that's going to happen next year for sure.
Can I just ask you one question from the past? It really fascinated me and floored me when I found out about you with Boston. Now, how did that come about?
Yeah. Well, I was one of many singers that was asked to perform at what was supposed to be the last Boston show ever. Okay, and that was in 2007 in Boston. And Brad Delp, as we all know, sadly, tragically took his life. And they were going to do a one-off show that was a fundraiser for Brad. And I was asked, along with Sammy Hagar, Ann Wilson, Mickey Thomas, and numerous other singers, to come and perform. And what happened was, it went from me performing 1 or 2 songs to me performing 4 or 5 songs, because they had a few of the other singers drop out and they weren't able to make it. So I performed with Boston, and after the show, it went so well. It was such an electrifying evening that Tom Scholz was very pleased with how everything went. He came and he asked me to join the band.
What went through your head when that happened?
Well, I had to go in the bathroom and clean my shorts.
Yeah, I bet.
And it was a very odd, surreal moment, because Boston's one of my favorite bands, heavily influenced by Boston. That first Boston album changed my life and my world. And to be asked to join Boston is like, are you kidding me? Is this reality? But I, of course, said yes.
Of course.
Yeah, and it was a very tough time. I mean, my wife, Kyle, was sick at the time with cancer, and I was her caretaker. And I didn't know if this was even feasible or possible. But I had her support, and she really pushed me to do that. I wound up joining the band, going out in 2008, and touring with the band and doing 56 shows with Styx as the opener. And every night was a pinch me moment on stage, every single night.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. And you know what's even more crazy, people say to this day, is that I left Boston. You know, I left the band Boston in 2011 to devote 100% of my time to the band Stryper. And I have people come up to me to this day who say, what are you, nuts? I guess I am. I don't know.
I guess you are. It's all good. It's all good. What's the plans going forward? You're coming here to Australia. You're doing 3 shows, Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, solo and acoustic. What happens after for Michael Sweet?
Well, when I get home, I'm going to take a nice day to recuperate. I'm sure I'll be all jacked up from that time change and jet lag. And then I'm going to set up shop right here where I'm sitting in my little den area. I got a fireplace here, and turn on the fireplace with my computer and my iPad, a couple little Bluetooth speakers, and I'm going to start writing the next Stryper album. I'll work every day, one day on one song. It's usually a song a day, and after a few weeks, 3 weeks tops, I'll have the whole album. And then I got the holidays, Christmas time. I'm going to take a few days off for that. The guys are coming out on January 6th to my house. We're going to start working, doing pre-production on the new Stryper album. We start recording on January 19th.
Awesome. And next year you'll be solo touring with the full band, and then I'm imagining some Stryper tours as well.
Yeah, next year I'll be definitely touring with the full band, solo, Stryper fly dates, and you know, who knows? I never know what to expect. I never know what's coming my way. I just take it day by day, and you know, there's so many opportunities that come my way that I pass on, I say no to, and so many that I say yes to. So I don't know what opportunities are going to be coming my way, knocking on my door, that I'm going to say yes to. I know that there's always something around the corner, and I'm just thrilled to still be able to do it. I'm very blessed. I'm very fortunate, and very thankful. How's
Perry Richardson going in Stryper?
Oh, my gosh. I can't even tell you how incredibly well it's going with Perry. He's a godsend to this band. We love him. I've even gone on record as to say, and that's not to take away from the past or the history of the band, but I've gone on record to say that where were you in 1984? You know, and we love him that much. I mean, he's such a great person, and he's such an amazing, astonishing bass player and singer. So we love him.
Hey, Michael, thanks so much for taking my call. Really good luck on the solo acoustic tour here in Australia. Best of luck with the new album and the new Stryper album you haven't written yet, and wish Oz all the best from all of us.
I will, man. Thank you so much. God bless you. Much appreciated, and I look forward to getting to Australia sooner than later.